So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes. Because the idea is that we want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, but we want you to cover them quickly so that you're left with your entire day covering other parts of UPSC syllabus because those parts are also important. Now, just watching this lecture within 30 minutes would be job half done because just after watching it, you need to revise it as well. Why, you ask? Well, revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes are shared on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. You just have to click on that link. It will take you to our Telegram channel, and from there, you can download the notes for this lecture and do the necessary revision. Alright, enough of the introduction. Let's straight away jump into the discussion. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So in total, we'll be covering 5 topics. Number 1 among them is Digital Threat Report 2024 released by Government of India. This digital threat report actually talks about cyber security issues facing banking, financial service and insurance sector, BFSI. So we'll talk about this. Then recently, Ministry of Health launched ZooWIN Portal. Okay, do you guys remember that during the COVID phase, during the lockdown phase, we had this portal called CoWIN, which actually revealed availability of vaccines for COVID-19, right? On similar lines, we have launched ZooWIN Portal, which will basically release data related to availability of vaccines with respect to rabies, with respect to other zoonotic diseases. Okay, snake venom, snake bite. So we'll talk about this portal. Then, recently, European Space Agency launched Biomass mission to measure the amount of carbon biomass stored on the entire planet. So what is this biomass mission? What is its significance? We'll talk about this. Then, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation launched Women and Men in India report. So basically, they have done a gender analysis based on employment indicators, education indicators, health indicators, leadership indicators. So all these things are compared between men and women. Okay, education, health, all these things, and a report has been published. This report is a comprehensive report, so we'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about PM MUDRA Yojana because it has completed 10 years. So what was this Yojana? What was its significance? What are its limitations or concerns or issues, disadvantages basically? And what is the way forward? We'll talk about all these things. So in total, we'll be focusing on these 5 topics. Let's start discussing them one by one, starting with topic number 1, which is Digital Threat Report. Okay. So in a landmark initiative to strengthen cybersecurity resilience in the banking, financial services and insurance sector, certain CSIRT, Fin and CISA, a global cybersecurity company, collaborated to launch Digital Threat Report 2024 for the BFSI sector, a comprehensive analysis of current and emerging cyber threats and defense strategies. Now the thing is, everything is online these days. Okay, everything is online. Similarly, like everything, banking sector, financial services sector like share market and other financial services, okay, credit cards, and insurance sector. These sectors are also now protecting these sectors from cybersecurity threats is of extreme importance because these are critical sectors. People's monies are involved in it, right? You need to protect people's money. Because if you won't be able to protect people's money, then people would lose trust in these institutions, in banks, and they would withdraw money out of the formal financial system, and that would lead to collapse of the entire Indian economy. Therefore, because the entire financial sector is online, you have to protect it from cyber threats, right? And that is why this report was launched. Now, this report was launched, it was a collaborative effort between 3 agencies. CERT is Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, it is basically a cybersecurity agency in India which responds to cyber threats. Then, within CERT, there is Computer Security Incident Response Team in the finance sector. So, this is a team which responds to cyber threats, especially in financial sector. So certain responds to cyber threats everywhere. CSIRT responds to cyber threats in financial sector, and CISA is a cybersecurity company. Okay, so these people have launched this report. Now, about the report, it is a sector specific cybersecurity assessment. Okay, why sector specific? Because it is not focusing on overall cybersecurity, it is just focusing on cybersecurity for banking, financial services, and insurance industry. Okay, it provides detailed evaluation of existing security vulnerabilities, evolving threat vectors. That means what are the threats, in which dimension or the tangents which the threats would emerge, and best practices for cyber defense. So the objectives are twofold, basically threefold. Cybersecurity resilience in this particular sector, because as I've mentioned before, this sector is critical. People's monies are involved in this. Then unified security framework at national and sectoral level. National level, all India level. Sectoral means for this sector, BFSI sector. And enable proactive threat management. Now, what were the key highlights of this report? This report says that financial system is especially vulnerable because of the interconnectedness. Different banks are connected with each other. Many banks are connected with share market. Share market is connected with insurance sector. Every subsector within the financial sector is interconnected. Therefore, a crisis in banking would also impact financial sector, share market, bond market, insurance market, pension market, everything, because it is interconnected. So this is what makes BFSI vulnerable. Then with the rise of AI, threats have become more advanced. So this is a thing. Then this report also proposed some solutions. Okay, it gave some actionable recommendations, and it also talked about collaboration between different agencies so that intelligence is shared and cyber threats are thwarted. Okay, avoided. That's all you need to know as far as this report is concerned. Now let's move on to next news item, which is the ZooWIN Portal. Union Health Ministry has introduced a digital platform, ZooWIN, designed to track and manage the real-time availability of anti-rabies vaccines and anti-snake venom. So like CoWIN, which was a portal that allowed real-time tracking of COVID vaccines. ZooWIN will allow real-time tracking of anti-rabies vaccine and anti-snake venom. Okay, that's the only thing. Clear? Now, Zoo stands for zoonosis. Okay, and zoonosis are basically those diseases, or zoonotic diseases are those diseases which are spread from animals to humans. So all the diseases that spread from animals to humans are called zoonotic diseases. And well, because rabies is spread from dogs to humans, snake venom is basically spread from snakes to humans. So they also come under the category of zoonotic diseases. So that is why it is named ZooWIN Portal. So similar to CoWIN and UWIN platforms, ZooWIN will centralize data and improve collaboration among healthcare providers, municipal authorities, and veterinary services. Okay, so more about the portal. So who has developed this portal? So under Ministry of Health, there is this organization called National Center for Disease Control, NCDC. They have developed this portal. This portal also receives technical support from UNDP. So it is developed by NCDC, and NCDC was assisted technically by UNDP. The purpose is to monitor stock of anti-rabies vaccines and anti-snake venom. The aim is prevention, control, and treatment of zoonotic diseases, real-time availability and distribution of vaccine stocks. That's all. Okay. Certain features of ZooWIN are also given in your notes as well. Real-time tracking is allowed. Health facility locator is allowed. I mean, you can go on the app and check which is the nearest hospital to you that provides these services: anti-snake venom and anti-rabies vaccine, follow-up tracking, integration with One Health approach, public helpline service. All these things are the features of ZooWIN Portal. All right. So yeah, that's about it. That's all you need to know about this topic as well. Now let's talk about ESA's Biomass mission. So European Space Agency's new mission, known as the Biomass mission, will provide information about the state of planet's forests and how they are changing, helping expand the knowledge about the role of forests in play in carbon cycle. Okay. So hear me out carefully, okay? You need to understand this term carbon cycle. You all know that currently we are suffering from global warming, right? And the reason why global warming is there because the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is increasing. Now, the most known, most popular greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide, right? So, increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is causing global warming. Simple, yes. Now, the thing is, this carbon dioxide that is in the atmosphere, well, it's not always in the atmosphere. Sometimes this carbon is in the ground, in people, in animals. Basically, carbon circulates from atmosphere to land, land back to atmosphere. Okay, and this is known as carbon cycle. So I'll give you an example. The thing is that plants absorb carbon dioxide through photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight, and they produce food, right? So plants through photosynthesis capture this carbon dioxide, produce food. So this carbon is captured in food. Then this food is basically consumed by animals. So this carbon goes to the animals. Then when animals die, well, they are buried underground. Okay, so this carbon is deposited in ground. Then these animals and plants which contain carbon after thousands of years being buried under the ground create fossil fuels. Okay, and when we burn these fossil fuels, we release carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. This is the carbon cycle, right? There are many other branches of carbon cycle, but this is just one branch. But this is, I just explained this to explain to you the entire point. What do we mean by this carbon cycle? So this carbon dioxide goes again in the atmosphere, then again captured by forests, plants, and this cycle continues, right? So carbon cycle is very important for the planet Earth if we really want to preserve it, protect it, if we really want to prevent global warming. So, to understand more about global warming, you need to understand more about carbon cycle. And to understand more about carbon cycle, well, you need to understand about forests, because these are because forests are those agents in nature which capture carbon from the atmosphere. Okay. Now, to measure the amount of biomass basically, uh, well, the entire biological life. Okay, because the entire biological life contains carbon. So to capture the total amount of biomass on the planet so that we can better understand carbon cycle, okay, and if we understand carbon cycle, we'll better understand global warming. For that reason and that reason alone, European Space Agency launched Biomass mission. So under this Biomass mission, they will launch a satellite, and this satellite will revolve around the Earth and survey the entire planet's biomass. Okay, so this Biomass program is European Space Agency's seventh Earth Explorer mission. So there is this another program called Earth Explorer program by European Space Agency. Biomass mission is just seventh portion of that. Okay. Now this satellite will be placed in sun synchronous orbit at an altitude of 666 kilometers. Okay. Now what is the need for this mission? As I've mentioned before, forests are important. Forests absorb around 16 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide per year and currently hold 861 gigatons of carbon in their branches, leaves, roots, soil. The thing is that we have data about the amount of forests in the world. But the thing is, this carbon dioxide that is captured by forests, well, some animals eat these plants and this carbon goes to those animals then, right? But we only have data about plants. We don't have the data on how many animals are there which contain this carbon, right? Now, this is known as above ground biomass. Above ground biomass means biomass apart from trees and forests. Okay. So ESA's biomass mission will measure this data also so that we will be able to better understand state of forest, their contribution and impact on carbon cycle. And by extension, we'll understand global warming. And when we'll understand global warming in a more holistic way, we'll be able to prevent it or mitigate against it or adapt against it, right? This is the purpose of this mission. Now, other aims of this mission, well, to understand human forest dynamics, because as humans are cutting forest trees, well, basically humans are cutting these trees for their own development, and this is actually destroying or disturbing carbon cycle, which is causing global warming. Plus, this mission is also measuring ice sheets in Antarctica. And this mission will generate digital data so that we can basically study and create models and predict the future. Future projections can be made. Okay. About Earth Explorer mission, there is some data about Earth Explorer mission in your notes. Just go through it. No need in discussing this in the lecture. You just have to remember it. Okay. That's all. Now let's talk about Women and Men in India report. So remember, this report is published by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The 26th edition of this report is known as Women and Men in India, Selected Indicators and Data. Okay. Now, this report offers a comprehensive overview of gender landscape in India, presenting selected indicators and data across key areas like population, education, health, economic participation, decision making, everything. Okay. The data for this report is sourced from different ministries and departments in the government. But this report is compiled and published by Ministry of Statistics. Okay. Now, what were the key concerns? Because this report had some positive news, it also had some negative news. Okay. So let's first talk about the positive news. Okay. So as far as education is concerned, government comes out with the gender parity index. Okay. Gender parity index basically reveals the level of equality between men and women when it comes to education. So primary and higher secondary levels have consistently high gender parity index. That means inequality between male and female is reduced in primary and higher secondary levels, indicating strong female enrollment in schools. Then labor force participation rate is also improving. Female labor force participation rate is improving. Then more and more females are opening bank accounts. Okay. So this is good. Financial inclusion is happening. In fact, in rural areas, more females are opening bank accounts. Then there has been a rise in demat accounts opened by females. Now you open demat accounts if you want to trade in stock market. So more and more females are participating in stock market. That is encouraging. Plus, rising female headed proprietary establishments, that means rising female headed small businesses. Okay. Rising total number of voters, increase in the number of startups recognized by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade with at least one woman director. So all these are positive signs, but there are some negative signs as well. Okay. What are the concerns? First of all, labor force participation rate among females has increased, but most of these jobs are in low paid informal sectors. So this is wrong. Then there is a huge divide between males and females. Yes, female demat accounts have increased. But if you compare it with males, 115 million accounts have been by males and only 27 million have been opened by females. Yes, this is a good improvement. Yet, there is a long way to go for females. Then, leadership roles, women still hold a smaller share in senior corporate parliamentary positions. Okay. So these are the negative things. Okay. That's all you need to know as far as this news item is also concerned. Okay. Positive news, negative news. And now we'll come to the last news item of the day, which is 10 years of MUDRA Yojana. Okay. In 2015, government launched Pradhan Mantri MUDRA Yojana. Now, the purpose of Pradhan Mantri MUDRA Yojana was to provide small loans like 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh loans to small enterprises, micro enterprises, okay, street vendors, all these things. Okay, so economically weaker sections of the society should also get access to loans so that they can improve their small or micro business. For that purpose, you created a special organization scheme that is called Pradhan Mantri MUDRA Yojana. Now, it has completed 10 years. It celebrated its 10-year anniversary. And on that occasion, Prime Minister of India said that the scheme's role in financial inclusion and grassroots entrepreneurship has been immense. Okay. Now, this scheme was launched by Ministry of Finance and it provides collateral-free loans. Now, this is important. because these small micro enterprises do not from banks because they don't have collateral on collateral to borrow loans by securitizing that collateral. Okay, so Mudra Yojana will provide them collateral free loans up to a level of 10 lakh. Initially, it was up to a level of 10 lakh, then it was increased to 20 lakhs also. Okay, now what are the key features of this Yojana? So there are 4 categories of loans. Okay, Shishu, small loans up to 50,000, Kishore 50 to 5 lakh, Tarun 5 lakh to 10 lakh, and Tarun Plus, which was recently added, 10 to 20 lakhs. Who will provide these loans? All scheduled commercial banks, non-banking finance companies, microfinance institutions, small finance banks, and cooperative banks. No collateral is required, and the interest rates are also deliberately kept a little low. The focus of this Yojana is mostly on weaker sections like women, SC, ST, OBC, minorities. Okay. Now, this Yojana has really succeeded in many ways. It has improved the lot of micro enterprises, SC, ST enterprises, minority enterprises, women enterprises, but it also suffers from few issues. What are those issues? So look, there is a risk of default because chances are that these small enterprises who have taken loans might not return it because their businesses have not become successful. The thing is that Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana only focuses on providing loans rather than, or it only focuses on providing loans. It should also focus on providing consultation to these people so that they can make their businesses successful and return back that loan. So this increases the risk of default. Plus, there is little share of Tarun loans. Most of the loans are from Shishu and Kishore category. That means these very small businesses are not growing. Plus, there is over reliance on public sector banks. Private sector banks or NBFCs or microfinance institutions have not increased their share in Mudra Yojana. So there is over reliance on public sector banks. So this is an issue. So government needs to create conditions so that NBFC MFI penetration in remote areas also increases. All right. And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. Though it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well. Okay, so please do not forget to revise this lecture. And on that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.